This week we're going to do like review of like Rev so far, and we're gonna demo Pwndbg. Is the CTF thing still the project? Can they still apply? Okay, the CTF project is closed now. But Rec CTF, if you want to be a challenge out there and you have uh significant previous in CTFs, please DM me or Nash. Uh, Tuesdays we meet here, and then Thursdays we meet at Boggs. Are we doing Thursday meeting?
Thursday, probably not, we'll see.
And again, this is the competition team member requirements. Please fill out this form if you've solved a CTF challenge and you wrote a write-up for it. And this is our new CTF platform domain. So please sign up if you haven't already. And I'll be demoing Pwndbg right now. Okay, so we have a generic Hello World program here. And Pwndbg is just a plugin for GDB, which allows us to debug C programs. Uh, we have like the default like compilation out there, and then there's also a debug flag, which allows us to see like the program as we execute. Now there's like several commands that you can use in Pwndbg that don't exist in GDB. Like the main one that we usually use is like start to get to like the start of the program. Or we can also do main. These go to different points in the program, but since we have the debugger flag enabled, it goes straight to main. And here we can see this like initial screen is the context. So when we type in context like this, it shows up this screen right here. It'll give you information about all the registers, and then it'll give you a disassembly. And if we have our debug flag on, it'll give us the source code. And here is our stack. And this is our backtrace, which means like it'll just show us whatever we've executed so far. Uh, and from 2 weeks ago, we went over sections, and here we can see like the mappings of each section. This is where the text file lives. I mean, the text section lives. This is where our code is, and this I believe is part of the BSS. And heaps should be somewhere between this libc and somewhere here. We haven't initialized the heap yet, so it's not going to show up. But these are our libc, like this is where it's mapped onto the memory. And then down here is our stack. This is where our user, like the variables are. And we can also see our loader right here. This is for our kernel. We don't have to like do anything with that. But there are also other commands like run, which just runs our program without doing anything. Here we can see it says hello world on there. And we can break at main, which means that now whenever you run, it will immediately stop at main. And we can do ifunc, which just shows us all the functions that exist in this program. But there's a lot. That's why we want to usually do this at like the start of the program. I mean, the start of the debug. And it'll just show us a quick short list. And now we're back at main. We can do this as, which disassembles the function that we're in. sometimes this won't work, and you might have to do examine, which will just go through and just show you the disassembly here. And from 2 weeks ago, we learned about assembly. Here is our push RBP. This just sets our base pointer onto the stack. And then this sets our new base pointer to the original RSP. And then we don't really care about these two. This part here, RAX, is actually the string hello world. And it's being put into RDI. And then once you step through, you can do NI, which just means next instruction, or SI, which means step into. So here we're just going to do NI until we reach here. And here we can see our format, which is just the string that we gave it. And then var arg, which we didn't really supply, so we don't really care about that. And also we can see that if we have our debug flag on, we can see where it is in the program. And then we can step into this and see like printf, it'll go immediately to the PLT, and then it'll load it, and then it'll go right into the GOT value. And here we can see the GOT. Oh, here we can see that GOT that loaded in the correct value from libc. If we check, we can do C, and then this is from libc. But at the start of the program, you see here, like these are all zeros. That means it hasn't been dynamically linked yet. And we can also check the PLT. There's nothing yet. Here is the printf PLT. And we go back to our printf call. This just normal. If you do ni here instead of si, it'll just printf. We can see up here. Where'd it go? I guess it's supposed to show up, but it didn't. But next, afterwards, we see EAX is equal to aux1234. This just sets the return value as we see right here as return aux1234. And then once you return from here, it'll go back to the libc start call main. And this is where it just ends the program. Additionally, you can see our breakpoints by doing this. Breakpoints just, as earlier, it just stops when we run it at that like defined point. Like here, we did break main. You can also do it at certain adders, like here, by doing this, and then you put the asterisk and then the address. Now, when we do something called continue or C, we can go to the next breakpoint. And you can see that it stopped here. We can now see our breakpoints by doing IB. And here are our breakpoints. And we can also do finish or F, which just finishes our current function. Does anyone have any questions?
I remember you used like some commands, but I don't remember like what they were. That
Okay, so if you look up Pwndbg cheat sheet, it should show you all the commands that I used. It's more, uh, there's more descriptions about it if you look it up. But the main ones that we want to know are run, break, info, func, which just is info or ifunc. And there's also main and start. But if you look up the cheat sheet, there should be more. There's also a lot of other commands that Pwndbg gives, but that's not really relevant for right now. We can also set the values of any register that we want. So here, when we do EAX1234, you see that EAX is this value here, or And then you can set this value to any value that we want by doing set and then the dollar sign and then whatever register. Now when we do context, you can see there a new value. And once we call exit, it'll exit with the code here. Any questions? Okay, so that's the basics of a Pwndbg. You should look at the cheat sheet for any more info. You can ask any questions. I'll answer them. And if you have any questions about these, please ask. I can go over it on the whiteboard if you need. And this is just the updated list of challenges to try. The first three will be basically using a debugger. The third one will use a debugger and Ghidra, and the rest will probably be Ghidra or Python. Uh, yeah, feel free to work on it and raise your hand if you need any help.